What if every camera in Tehran, all 347 of them, stopped seeing, but no one ever noticed? And what if the man who made that happen had no idea why he was asked to do it? It begins with a new posting order. Daniel Arbel, a 37-year-old technical operations officer in Mossad's cyber division, is told he's being reassigned to an integration project described only as environmental signal balancing. That phrase means nothing. It's a cover even inside the service. He's flown to a facility outside Herzliya, a place with no marked entry signs, where power is never cut and the clocks on the wall never agree with each other. Inside, a senior handler slides him a single technical schematic, a partial map of Tehran's citywide CCTV infrastructure. The diagram shows 347 camera access points routed through 6 primary data nodes, all converging at one server complex known to Iranian intelligence as the Khiyaban command relay. There are no objectives listed, no operations brief, only a time window, 6 hours. Daniel's immediate question, why blind a city for 6 hours? The handler's only response, you'll know what you need to know when you're done. That's the first unresolved risk. He's being asked to manipulate a live foreign surveillance network without understanding what his disruption might conceal. In Mossad, ignorance is often safety, but ignorance also means you can't gauge the line between a technical intrusion and an act of war. Daniel knows the Iranian system isn't just a bunch of cameras. It's integrated with patrol routing, facial recognition linked to border checkpoints, and traffic lights hardwired into the same servers. Pull too deep, and you freeze the city. Pull too shallow, and your intrusion leaves a visible scar. He's tasked with threading the middle, visible to no one, traceable to nothing. Still, another risk appears immediately. Tehran's cyber network has a redundancy feature called PhaseMirror anytime large-scale disruption occurs. The system automatically reverts feeds to offline analog backups, unmapped, unhackable, and immune to spoofing. Daniel calculates that if that redundancy activates, not only will his intrusion fail, but it will alert Iranian cyber defense to the exact moment and location of foreign interference. That redundancy is a silent tripwire. He will have to go around it, even though no one explains how far around actually means. He's paired with a signals engineer known to him only as Yossi. They've worked together on digital interference operations before, satellite relays, radio spectrum interception, but never inside an active city network where human life depends on continuous monitoring. Yossi's warning stays with him. When you touch Khiyaban, everything else in Tehran will feel it. Daniel runs simulations for weeks, watching Tehran's feeds flicker across a wall of screens in an underground lab. Pedestrians in markets, taxi lights in the drizzle, soldiers at checkpoints. None of them know that every 12 seconds their images briefly duplicate inside an Israeli training facility before dissolving into data shapes. He builds an algorithm meant to enter through Node 9, the least defended junction where civilian camera loops merge with emergency response feeds. The idea is elegant. Create a synthetic maintenance loop that overrides camera input, forcing Tehran's command system to believe its own sensors are temporarily malfunctioning. But the network topology is more complex than the schematic suggested. Certain feeds, especially those near military housing and embassy districts, show routing inconsistencies, suggesting manual patchwork by field technicians. That means human unpredictability inside the system, updates at wrong hours, random shutdowns, undocumented reroutes. One rogue technician could rewrite Daniel's path in real time without knowing it, turning disguise into exposure. That's the second unresolved risk. The team calls the intrusion framework Eclipse, after the brief total darkness it's designed to create. But behind closed doors, Daniel already feels the first cost forming. It's not tactical, it's ethical. For this to succeed, Eclipse will have to erase surveillance not only over government installations but also civilian zones, hospitals, intersections, residential compounds. If any parallel operation coincides, he won't see it coming. And still, the order stands, 6 hours of shadow. The preparation phase drags into winter. Mossad signals branches in Baku and Cyprus adjust timing relays and downlink overlaps. Every test field ends the same: partial infiltration, brief success, then systemic correction. It's as if Tehran's network senses irregularities instinctively and heals them faster each trial. The closer they get to deception, the closer they edge toward detection. Days before the live run, Daniel receives a final update package. The metadata shows a human signature rather than an automated compile stamp. Someone higher up has altered the instruction set. The payload's handshake protocol, the digital fingerprint used to disguise the virus, now points to an Israeli water treatment company rather than a neutral vendor address. That's illegal even under Mossad's own internal codes because it risks exposure of domestic assets. Daniel protests. He's told the route masking was changed for strategic compartmentalization. He knows what that means, plausible deniability at his expense. He sits in the lab watching Tehran's map pulse. Every dot is a camera. Every link is a judgment call. He thinks about the paradox written into the mission. To remain invisible, he must interfere. To interfere, he must appear visible somewhere, to something. At 2 o'clock tomorrow night, his system goes live. Yossi will initiate the first signal pulse from an offshore relay disguised as maritime telemetry traffic. Daniel will monitor the synchronization drift, hoping the loop feeds merge quietly. They have no confirmation what the window conceals, or who's waiting inside Tehran for that blackout. But one quiet fear settles in his stomach as he watches the blinking city map. If he succeeds in blinding the city, will he ever know what happened in the dark? And what if the darkness doesn't stay contained? When the digital night begins, nothing looks unusual. At exactly 2:00:07, Daniel's monitors light up with a quiet ripple of green, status confirmation from 3 nodes across the relay system. Node 9 accepts the handshake instantly. Node 11 hesitates. Latency drift is higher than predicted. Daniel pushes a soft override signal to stabilize it. Then, for the first time, the image feed of Tehran flattens into nothing but static light. He checks his diagnostics. All systems nominal. They've entered, quietly, perfectly. But the stillness is deceptive. From Baku, Yossi's voice comes through the secure line, controlled and low. Tehran commands showing no redundancy trigger. 0 defensive pings. We're clear. Daniel notes the words but doesn't feel relief. The network topology on his secondary monitor shows a pulse running through an unexpected junction. The Khiyaban node's backup spine, a line he never targeted. The loop code shouldn't have reached it. He cross-verifies. Every model. Projected containment within 10 subnodes, not the AI-assisted clusters used for predictive routing. Yet the code is threading itself into those, rewriting access privileges as it goes. He realizes it's evolving. Somehow, the intrusion framework is learning how to expand, or someone edited its restrictions without his consent. The assumption from Phase 1, that Eclipse was a controlled surgical loop, is broken in a single keystroke of realization. It's not surgical, it's growing. Daniel checks the payload's compiler signature again. The same false identifier appears, the Israeli water treatment company tag, which means if Tehran finds traces, they'll believe the origin lies in domestic Israeli infrastructure, a retaliatory link. He initiates a system restraint call, a command script to freeze propagation beyond Node 11, but the confirmation timer freezes mid-process. Code delay, authorization mismatch. The payload isn't listening to him. That's the first fracture. He looks up from the monitor at Yossi's remote feed. The engineer's expression is unreadable, half masked by blue light. "Did you alter the limiter?" Daniel asks. "No," Yossi answers. "Did you?" "I'm watching it break itself open." Yossi doesn't respond for several seconds, then quietly, "Then someone else is running a copy." For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Daniel sees the ripple spread. Each secondary node begins echoing false diagnostic success messages, something they built into Eclipse to mask its footprint. But now, those fake success logs are repeating infinitely. Tehran's command center, when they check status, will see everything working perfectly. Too perfectly. Real systems never show that kind of symmetry. Someone in Iranian cyber defense will notice it's impossible. Daniel runs quick probability math. Estimated time to pattern detection, 3 hours. His blackout window was meant to last 6. That means before they finish, someone in Tehran will know something is wrong. Yossi suggests an option. They can abort by introducing a deliberate fault, simulate one sector failure, forcing human technicians in Tehran to reboot the grid manually. It would break the illusion, but by safety. Daniel hesitates. His orders forbid premature termination. Abort doesn't exist in the written plan because the mission parameters are built on trust that no one outside the main cell touches the system mid-run. But now he's certain the code itself has been modified post-launch, meaning Command either changed the framework midstream or another entity is piggybacking on his network access. Either option is disastrous. He transmits a secure status request to headquarters, requesting Command validation of the live signature. Minutes pass. No acknowledgement. He sends another. Silence. At 02:26, a new alert fills his bottom screen. Tehran's Traffic Management A, I temporarily disabled. That was never part of the plan. He pulls system trace data. The blackout pulses are jumping, synchronizing with traffic junctions carrying alternate data feeds to law enforcement terminals. What began as targeted camera loop replacement is now forcing the command system to reroute civil infrastructure. Trucks, ambulances, and security convoys are all now blind in parts of the city, and Mossad's loggers show no direct kill switch command. The cascade is autonomous. Daniel feels sweat building in the silence of the lab. Yossi's feed blinks once, twice, then freezes. Communication relay lost. He runs diagnostics, no satellite downstream errors. The line was cut from command, deliberately or automatically. That's when the hidden cost surfaces. The integration between Mossad's cyber intrusion and their intelligence satellites means that if connection integrity drops below 30%, Tehran's ground radar will interpret ghost echoes as real atmospheric anomalies. It's the cyber equivalent of waving a flag. Every second of outage increases exposure probability by 8%. At 2 minutes offline, Tehran's defense AI begins cross-referencing traffic anomalies with the known external firmware addresses. One address glows bright red on Daniel's display, the same Israeli proxy, signature. He watches its digital shadow bloom across the map like wildfire. He types furiously, building a suppression script. The cursor blinks, then the system freezes again. Message from command appears in plain text, maintain. Do not interfere. Briefing amended. There's no encryption seal, no authentication hash, just those words. Someone who should never have system access just issued a direct order into his interface. He feels the cold recognition of what this means. If someone compromised Eclipse from inside Mossad hierarchy, the purge trace might not even be accidental. It could be running a parallel objective. He leans back, eyes locked on the pulse map of Tehran. 30% of the city is dark, 50% is flickering. Traffic feeds along the military compound near Mehrabad show repeating sequences, vehicles running in loops that do not exist. Someone is using Eclipse not just for invisibility, they're masking movement. He realizes the blackout isn't just to blind surveillance. It's a cover for a ground operation already occurring inside Tehran, an extraction or strike occurring under the noise. But he was never told this existed. The order changes everything. For the first time, he considers disobeying. He could crash the system manually, flood Tehran with restart pings, expose the blackout instantly, and stop whatever operation is piggybacking on his work. He opens the abort console. Yossi's connection pings alive for 2 seconds. Daniel, wait. Static swallows the rest. The abort key blinks, waiting for confirmation. But then he sees something else on his monitor. A subroutine he never wrote, timestamped 5 minutes before launch, tagged with an internal Mossad clearance code higher than his own. Its title, Eclipse Contingency / Field Asset Masking. Active. He stops typing. Field asset? That means human presence inside Tehran. Someone's on the ground relying on him to maintain the blind. If he aborts, they'll be exposed. If he doesn't, Tehran will know within hours that someone manipulated their entire surveillance architecture. 2 disasters, 1 choice. He stares at the command line, seeing both futures unfold. In one, the system reboots, and the hidden team dies. In the other, he keeps it dark, and the digital signature becomes undeniable, traceable straight back to Tel Aviv. Yossi's screen stays dark. Command sends no update. Daniel sits motionless, cursor blinking over the abort code he will either confirm or delete. Outside, the first cluster of Tehran's cameras begins to self-heal. Slow flickers of image returning through burned static, ghostly outlines of streets reappearing line by line. He realizes it's already happening. The city is waking up early. He doesn't know who's controlling it anymore, them or him. The blackout was meant to last 6 hours. He's 37 minutes in, and the operation is no longer his. Daniel watches the monitors flatten into noise. Pixels crawl across his screen like dust under glass. Somewhere between the static, Tehran flickers, half seeing, half blind. He's already 38 minutes into the blackout, which means, by all projections, the first detection sweep should be happening right now, but nothing comes. That stillness is the false release, the kind of deceptive calm that makes operatives believe they're invisible when, in truth, someone is just watching quietly. He knows that pattern too well. Still, silence buys him courage. He steadies his hands. He decides to run a system check, hoping to locate Yossi's signal again. Maybe the relay in Baku is back online. Maybe the blackout is holding long enough to patch the leaks. The console returns with 3 lines of code: link found, link broken, link rerouted. He realizes what just happened. Yossi isn't back. His relay node has been commandeered by the same subroutine labeled Field Asset Masking, the one bearing a clearance above theirs. Whoever embedded it is now issuing commands from Yossi's location. Daniel stares at the screen, heart pounding, trying to calculate what that means. If command didn't write that subroutine, it can only have come from the field team using his blackout as cover. They must have uplink integration permissions, something reserved for elite joint operations involving live human infiltration. But why hijack the Baku relay unless they want full control of Eclipse's data shields? The implication hits him like a surge of electricity. They're not hiding from Iranian eyes anymore. They're hiding from his. He makes a judgment call. Temporary authority override. He wipes the credentials, recodes the ID window, injects a tracer into the relay route. It's a gamble. If Tehran's monitors pick up the energy spike, the entire intrusion will surface. The tracer launches. For a few seconds, the network freezes, suspended mid-thought. Then, the data bursts back with one new thread. The tracer returns a packet pinging off a building near Mehrabad Airport. Daniel blinks, realizing the significance. That's military airspace. His blackout alignment wasn't built for that coordinate. He miscalculated the radius of interference. The blacked-out cameras he thought were on civilian streets are covering the airport perimeter, which houses an internal security wing of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. An incorrect assumption, now unfolding in real time. The field team, whoever they are, is operating inside or near the airport, probably moving an asset toward exfiltration under the shadow of his blind zone. His palms go cold. If Tehran's system reboots early, that operation will turn from covert to suicidal in seconds. It's no longer about code, it's about someone out there breathing inside that blackout, dependent on his illusion. Daniel zooms in on the node distribution pattern. 39 nodes, active. 4 partial. 2 completely severed. He tries to stabilize the severed lines with auxiliary routing through Armenia's fiber lines. Instead of syncing, the Iranian network reacts with aggressive firewall bursts. Counter-intrusion. Someone on the Iranian side just noticed an anomaly. A latency offset repeating every 8 seconds, the exact signature of Eclipse's synthetic maintenance loop. They've spotted the illusion. A small spark of panic builds. He's forced to consider what he never wanted to face. Once Iranian analysts realize the error, they'll reroute all command to analog redundancy, the PhaseMirror failsafe. If that happens, Tehran's cameras will physically bypass every digital relay, pulling directly from copper coax lines that no remote software can touch. The blackout will crumble like ash. He opens communications one last time to see if command will allow him to deploy black ice, a defensive overload that fries Iranian switchboards to prevent immediate recovery. It's destructive, and once used, it vaporizes any chance of plausible deniability. No response. Only a flashing icon where Yossi's ID used to be, now replaced by the ghost relay that controls everything. The phantom subroutine pulses every 4 seconds, mirroring the heartbeat of someone maybe crossing the Tehran runway. The near-abort moment arrives. Daniel hovers over the manual kill switch. He can still blow the circuit, awaken the city, stop whatever's happening under his network. He imagines it for a moment, the entire blackout dissolving, Tehran's night blooming with camera light again. A figure frozen mid-step on a runway, security floodlights catching every trace. And then another image intervenes, the cleaner's file he once saw inside Mossad's archive, the one recording fallout from the 2012 cyber incident. A technician inside Iran was ordered to fix a digital anomaly in an oil refinery. The system rebooted while Mossad's Stuxnet variant was still embedded. The man was executed within the hour. An unfinished loop led to a death. This one might lead to several. He lowers his hand. Instead of aborting, he rewrites the output clock, manually delaying Tehran's system's self-healing by creating artificial lag. He buys another 20 minutes of darkness, but it'll cost him everything. His tracer logs will now burn traceable signatures directly into the system core. Anyone scanning later will know the pattern doesn't belong to Tehran, doesn't belong to any domestic entity. It screams foreign derivative. Israeli. Hidden cost accepted. Around 0306, the second false start begins. Tehran's AI watchdog initiates automated correction anyway, ignoring the delay script. The cameras on the periphery, residential streets, gas stations, back alleys begin flickering alive. But in the city's center near Mehrabad, the blackout holds. Daniel interprets it as partial containment success. Maybe the Iranian engineers are isolating the outer rings first, unaware that the core darkness hides something more fragile. He breathes, convinced he can stabilize it. For 5 minutes, he believes that lie. The monitors hold steady, half dark, half light. Blackout sustained where it matters most. He sends Yossi's fallback code, signal breathe, to keep the network balanced across nodes. The feedback meter shows equilibrium. Tehran steady. His pulse finally slowing. Then a new message materializes on his primary feed. Short, ciphered. Not from command, not from Yossi, not from any ID he recognizes. Hold, loop, extraction underway. Contact at gate 4, compromised. The words hit him like a physical blow. Extraction, not a trial, not a simulation, not a dummy run. Live human presence and they're bleeding in the dark. He zooms deeper into the airport node and sees an uncorrelated movement cluster. A blob of motion data spiking despite the blackout. Ghost forms moving across an inactive camera grid. Someone's running. The transmission continues. Hold 30 more. We move by silence. Daniel stares at the timestamp. 30 more minutes beyond his safety window. Impossible. Tehran's decay model will have recovered system parity by then. He types back instinctively, system unstable. Abort extraction, no reply. He tries again, you will lose cover. Still silence. He finally writes, tell me your clearance, hoping to reveal a codename, a project tag, anything. The system responds after 8 seconds. Eclipse doesn't wait, then disconnects. Daniel grips the edge of the table, knuckles white. If he obeys, he keeps the city dark. If he resists, the field team dies. And if Tehran recovers before 30 minutes, both will burn, the team on the ground and Mossad's entire digital network chain. He looks at the timer, 0320. He has 25 minutes left before the AI resets feed. He reroutes power from satellite correction to local loop buffering, sacrificing network latency for persistence. It's like building a dam out of glass. It might hold for seconds, maybe minutes. As he executes the patch, Tehran's core lights spike on his map. A system reboot order has been issued from inside Iran's Ministry of Telecommunications. The code sweeps like wildfire, attacking every foreign signature. His buffer collapses faster than predicted. He realizes his misjudgment. The AI isn't trying to remove foreign code. It's prioritizing energy allocation to military sectors to protect power from foreign drain. He didn't anticipate that behavior because his model used civilian datasets. They're diverting power from the blackout zones, physically shunting energy flow away from those cameras, which means the region's staying darker by design. Not because of his success, but because Tehran itself wants them dark to protect high-value areas during infiltration, which raises a terrifying possibility. Iran may already suspect the blackout is cover for something. They might be intentionally containing it, waiting to trap whoever's inside. Daniel realizes he's now running interference not against Iran, but against another intelligence network's countermeasure. He's blind, bleeding time, no authority, and his operation is now colliding with 2 opposing systems unknown to him. One inside Tehran, one within his own agency. Another system message pings through. Contact recovered. Exit point jammed. We will surface early. That means movement. The moment they surface, infrared, traffic, thermal, all come online. Daniel slams an emergency code, total memory wipe of his local node. It won't stop Tehran from seeing, but it will bury the link that connects his keyboard to the city's vision. He watches as the deletion bars crawl across the screen, purging line after line, erasing his fingerprints. The lab lights dim as core processors throttle down. The monitor glows faintly, like a dying eye. Then, through the fading static of Tehran's feeds, one image flickers, alive, grainy, fractured, but visible. A single frame from the airport gate, time-stamped March 26, 2004. A lone figure standing still, half in light, half in shade. Daniel doesn't know who they are. He only knows that the blackout he built is collapsing around them. He whispers to no one. Run. The screen goes black again, final and deep. He can only wait now for a confirmation that may never come, and for a city that will soon remember how to see. The first alerts in Tehran begin before the blackout even fully collapses. At 03:28, while half the network still hangs between light and shadow, an automated defense terminal flags a pattern irregularity. 17 camera systems reboot simultaneously, too precisely timed to be natural. By 03:31, Iranian Cyber Command isolates the anomaly to cross-border packets routed through maritime relay frequencies. Exactly the trail Daniel created when he extended the blackout window. The cure begins before the illness finishes. Inside Mossad headquarters, the night shift staff sees the same markers light up on their threat board. Two overlapping worlds, one cutting feed to remain unseen, the other reconstructing visibility pixel by pixel. It's no longer a covert strike. It's a collision of speeds. No status confirmation arrives from the field team. Daniel doesn't even know if they escaped. All he sees is Tehran's network crawling back to life, colors blooming through cracks in the dark. When the first street camera near Mehrabad comes online, its initial frame catches a blurred rectangle. A truck doorway mid-slam, headlights cutting through dust. The image freezes, then wipes out as Iranian engineers reroute feed redundancy. Tehran is still half blind, but the direction of blindness is changing. Instead of missing details, the feeds now overcompensate, duplicating video segments until countless echoes overlay the same scene. Daniel watches the duplication bloom across thousands of screens until human forms become abstract patterns. Tehran's AI assumes each repeat is a separate incident. Within minutes, the system concludes that dozens of coordinated infiltrators are active across the city. He realizes his last-minute lag correction has caused the network's timestamp drift to replicate identical data as new security threats. By buying 20 extra minutes for the blackout, he created a phantom invasion map. Iran mobilizes in confusion, air defense activation, street lockdowns, comms jamming. The chaos shields the real Mossad operatives, but also ensures the operation can never be repeated. As dawn breaks, Tehran is not a city waking up, but a machine gasping for breath, overwhelmed by its own defenses. The fallout inside Mossad begins the same day. Command pulls Daniel off console before recovery logs transmit. His clearance is frozen, workstation sealed, network privileges revoked permanently. They don't arrest him, they don't praise him, they simply remove him from the visible structure, the way intelligence services hide successes and failures alike. 2 weeks later, during a compartmentalized debrief, the intelligence director summarizes the operation with precise detachment. Eclipse achieved temporary surveillance disruption. Mission support classified, collateral outcomes under review. The phrase collateral outcomes means the mess left behind. The algorithmic imprint on Iranian servers, the echo logs Tehran will forensically unspool for months. They will find his code burnt into memory clusters, a blueprint of how Mossad manipulates optical input, disguised as internal fault patterns. It isn't just exposure, it's education. Iran now possesses enough data to rebuild its surveillance AI against every method Daniel used. By February 2024, Tehran's Ministry of Intelligence announces its new Vision Stability Initiative, a control structure immune to synthetic loops, trained on the very intrusion codes Mossad deployed. Publicly, it's a modernization program. Privately, every journalist and foreign analyst suspects what it really means. Mossad's own weapon taught Tehran how to become paranoid more effectively. Daniel is reassigned to desk research under a false title. For months, he reads declassified data he once wrote himself, stripped of context and emotion. Sometimes he recognizes fragments, the shape of a loop, the cadence of a recovery log. Other times, he doesn't recognize anything. His work has already been rewritten into another language, weaponized again by hands he will never meet. Yossi never appears again. Officially, he's listed non-operational. In private channels, someone mentions he was last tracked crossing Georgian airspace, equipment confiscated en route to Tel Aviv. Daniel doesn't ask further questions. The personal cost arrives quietly. He begins to notice something strange when he types reports, a recurring keystroke delay, a flicker before each line appears. It's as if his terminal breathes once before, obeying. Phantom lag, a reflex left over from Eclipse's design where each command replicated through buffers before response. He knows it's psychological, an echo his mind still expects, yet he can't ignore it. Every pause feels like the ghost of the system he unleashed, still looping inside him. Late at night, with the room dark, he sometimes replays the moment before the blackout ended, the single visible frame from Tehran's camera feed, a figure half in shadow, half in light. He convinces himself it means survival. Then, some nights, he convinces himself it doesn't. Either version fits an intelligence life where truth dissolves under classification. Institutional cost follows faster than personal cost. The operation that once silenced Tehran now silences sections of Mossad itself. Budget reallocations shift toward containment, not offense. Entire cyber units are ordered to scrub operational identities, erase code reuse, rewrite architectures. Israel's allies begin noticing something else too. Signals overlap. Servers previously leased for joint surveillance run higher latency, as if double encrypted. Trust inside the network erodes. It isn't betrayal, just self-defense. Each branch now assumes the other might tamper their tools mid-execution, like what happened with the Eclipse. That's the legacy Daniel never intended, the fragmentation of unity inside a machine built entirely on secrecy. The operation didn't just blind Tehran, it blinded Mossad's own faith in command. Months later, an encrypted internal memo circulates quietly among senior staff. It's short, unsigned, but unmistakably written by someone close to the operation. When invisibility becomes habit, so does self-attack. We built darkness so absolute that even our own eyes learned not to question what lived inside it. No reply is ever recorded to that memo. It's archived under doctrine flaws internal. Some say the Iranian network still contains traces of Eclipse deep beneath. Its new AI watchdogs, a ghost pattern running silently, watching the watchers, mirroring old code like instinct. If so, it's not sabotage anymore. It's history, repeating itself as vigilance. Because once the city learns it was blind, it never forgets how to look. Hidden ops. The shadows stay longer than the missions. Watch carefully. The things erased are the ones that echo most.